Hey everyone, my lovelies, hello. This video is for you if you are suffering from loss of appetite, especially if it's from cancer. I mean, really, these things I'm going to share are going to work for just about anything, but this channel, of course, is dedicated to those who have or have had cancer, or even those looking to prevent. Hi. I'm Dr. Lisa Matejka, Cancer Transformation Guide. I am a naturopathic physician, energy worker, transformational life coach, and I help those on their cancer journey navigate their return to health and wellness to an even better state than before on all levels, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually, by awakening the healing power within with compassionate guidance and loving support. So yes, today we are going to talk about what to do if you have a loss of appetite. Most likely it's going to be from conventional treatments, chemo, radiation. Of course, it could just be from the cancer itself. And the reason this is important to address, as you may already know, is because it is absolutely vital to make sure you're still getting your nutritional intake, particularly when your body is fighting cancer. And then, of course, we want to prevent the rapid weight loss, cachexia that can happen, which, of course, is a bad thing. So I'm going to be sharing with you all sorts of things, a large amount of the things that I know, that I learned from other naturopaths and holistic doctors that have worked for me in my own practice. I'm going to be sharing with you 7 eating tips, as well as supplements, herbs, and even some modalities that can help stimulate and bring your appetite back. So why don't we start with these 7 eating tips and habits, because this is important. And you know, these little things, it might seem like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, but really take these to heart. They really are tried and true. And again, not everything works on everybody, but try some of these out and see what works for you. And of course, the more you incorporate, the better. All right. So first is keep your favorite foods available at all times. So this actually comes from regular doctors. They say, you know, keep all your favorite foods available, eat pretty much whatever you want because it's important to keep that weight on. Of course, us naturopaths don't exactly agree with the eat whatever you want part. So I'm going to add a little caveat. Keep your favorite foods available at all times, your healthy favorite foods. It is okay to cheat every now and again with your favorite foods, but of course it's very important still to have a healthy diet. So the reason for this is obvious. You know, if you have foods around that you actually like and really enjoy eating, you're more likely to eat them and be hungry for them. So that one's pretty self-explanatory. The second one is, you know, maximize intake when your appetite is high. Maybe your appetite's never high, but what's the highest that it is? This is a sort of another common sense one, but you know, a lot of people don't do this because they have set schedules that they eat at. Maybe they wait for their partner to come home from work. Maybe they don't want to, you know, maybe they're still working and well, maybe they can't take time to eat whenever they want at work. That depends. But a lot of times people, they really don't take advantage of when they're actually hungry. So whenever you get any sort of pang of hunger, eat. It is your prerogative. It is your duty to eat whenever you get a pang of hunger, especially as a cancer patient. So don't worry about waiting for people, or if it's not the time you wanted to eat or whatever else you're doing, stop it and eat. And then the third one is relaxation and mindfulness before and also during meals. Okay, so why? So relaxation is really important because, as you may know, the parasympathetic system is sort of the rest and digest part of our nervous system. So we really can only digest when we are relaxed. And that goes for appetite as well, because a lot of things that work on digestion also work on appetite. And it makes sense, right? If you're like really stressed out and cortisol is pumping, you're probably not hungry. And that's an evolutionary adaptive response. If we need to run from a bear, it is not the time to digest or want food. So this makes sense, but that's why it's ultra important. It's always important to have good stress management techniques in place when you have cancer because stress has such a deleterious effect. But really, do some things to relax. Relax yourself before you're going to eat. Whatever it takes, whatever your relaxation favorite techniques are, relaxation is very important for not only digesting, but for getting that appetite up there. And then mindfulness is actually a separate thing. I mean, inherent in mindfulness is some relaxation, but mindful eating is a whole separate thing in itself, which I could talk about that for a long time, but I want to keep this kind of succinct and to the point. But feel free to look up mindful eating. It's a really awesome practice. It's essentially bringing mindfulness practices to eating. So it's all about presence, being present with your food. So as a first step, there's no eating while watching TV, no eating while reading, not even talking to people when you're reading. You are present with your food, but that's only the first step. There's a lot of other practices with it. You really try to enjoy the texture of the food, anticipate what is it going to taste like. There's these little practices you can do, but essentially it's being very present with your food and with the experience of eating and all the things that mindfulness teaches us. And so that's actually really helpful for stimulating appetite and bringing the appetite back, believe it or not. Maybe I'll do a whole separate video on mindful eating, but you can totally look that up and find some practices. It's really awesome. And another thing you can do before eating, well, to be clear, the mindfulness relaxation is before and also during. But another thing you can do before eating to stimulate appetite is a glass of wine. Okay, you probably liked that one a lot better than the mindfulness, didn't you? So yeah, a glass of wine before meals has been known to stimulate appetite. So I don't necessarily think you should do this before every meal throughout the day often, but incorporate it every now and again when you're really not hungry and see if it works. Of course, the healthier wine, the better, which would be red, organic, sulfite-free wine. But there's a good one for you. But you want to keep intake of liquids low. So when you're actually eating, and usually when you're drinking wine, it's not that much liquid, but when you're actually eating, don't drink water, and really you shouldn't be drinking too much water with meals anyway, because it can dilute the digestive enzymes. But don't be drinking water or nothing else during eating, because the liquids, of course, will fill you up, make your body think that you're full, and then you won't be able to eat anymore. And it sends the signals for the satiety hormone leptin, so you will not feel hungry. So yes, limit the intake of liquids during meals. And then be sure you're eating in a pleasant environment. This is important, eating in a pleasant environment. This kind of goes along with the relaxation one, but even more than that, because not only will a pleasant environment relax you more, but think about it, a pleasant environment can really stimulate your senses. If you're in a beautiful environment that's a feast for the eyes, or it feels cozy and warm, well, first, if you feel safe and secure in whatever environment you're in, then yes, your parasympathetic nervous system kicks in and you're more likely to be hungry. But also stimulating your other senses, like with beauty or maybe some soft, nice music, so you can still do the mindfulness. Stimulating those senses can stimulate other senses, and it can also increase your appetite. The important thing with this one too is to avoid noxious odors. Before and during eating, avoiding any offensive or noxious odors, because that can totally take your appetite away. So try to do that one. And then eating small, frequent meals throughout the day is actually better than doing the, 1 to 3 meals or whatever. It's better to do like six small meals throughout the day. That's going to be easier on your digestive system. That's more likely going to keep you hungry and help this symptom. So small, frequent meals throughout the day, like 6 of them approximately, and they should be ideally nutrient dense, high protein, high caloric foods as well. So now I'm gonna move on to supplements and also piggybacking off the 6 approximately small meals throughout the day. Another thing you can do a couple times a day is a liquid nutritional supplement, about 2 to 4 ounces only. So small, it's almost like sips throughout the day. Well, it's a little more than sips. So like 2 to 4 ounces of a liquid nutritional supplement a couple times throughout the day can also be helpful, not only in getting you the nutrients you need, but also it can help to keep your appetite there, to not have the loss of appetite. And supplements that can actually help your appetite also is zinc and omega-3s. So make sure you're getting enough zinc and omega-3s in your supplement protocol. And that, that zinc is also for loss of taste. So zinc can be an important one if you're losing your taste, which losing taste makes some people lose their appetite. So specifically for loss of taste, zinc can help bring that back, and zinc and omega-3s in general help to stimulate appetite. And then I'll talk about some herbs. So everything I'm talking about today is like really safe stuff, but especially when it comes to herbs, maybe you want to check with your naturopath or holistic practitioner just to be sure there's no interferences with any of your other health conditions or any other medications or things you're taking. But these are pretty safe herbs, so I'm really not too worried about it. Well, the first one you definitely need to be sure you can do it. Definitely check in, and that is cannabis. So as we know, medical marijuana is often prescribed for cancer patients specifically for the loss of appetite. So if you're getting the cannabis prescribed, then most likely they're already checking into any other interactions and things. So if that's available to you, cool. If not, there are other herbs that can help as well. So teas of things like catnip, fennel, peppermint, ginger. These herbs are known as carminatives, and they help the digestive system. And like I said earlier, a lot of things that help stimulate the digestive system also stimulate appetite. So you can try those teas, catnip, fennel, ginger, peppermint, and some of those are very easy to find. And then also Panax ginseng. Panax ginseng is amazing for a lot of things. It does a lot of awesome things actually. And one of them happens to be stimulate appetite. So you could also throw that into your regimen. That's the one you might want to check with if it's okay for you to do. And then guess what? There's some modalities you can do as well. Exercise. So this is something you should be doing anyways. Exercise is really important to do. Yes, even while you have cancer, it doesn't have to be some crazy intense workout. Even just walking at a good kind of brisk pace, 30 minutes a day is at least the minimum of what I recommend my patients and clients. But exercise can stimulate appetite. So if you're gonna do your exercises, maybe you want to schedule to do them before you eat, which kind of makes sense anyway, because it's hard to exercise on a full stomach. But you get the idea. Even just a little walk, maybe if you're about to eat and you're not hungry, you could try just going for a little walk. It might stimulate your appetite a bit. So exercise can help. And then acupuncture. Acupuncture is amazing. It's a great complementary medicine to cancer on so many levels for so many things. It can help with a lot of side effects. Of course, it balances your energy field. It's really great. And one of the things it happens to do is also it can keep your appetite intact and stimulate loss of appetite. So those are some of the tools of the trade, tips and tricks. I hope you found that helpful. Give some of these a try. Exercise before meals. You could try acupuncture. Let's see, we talked about cannabis, Panax ginseng, teas of catnip, fennel, peppermint, ginger, supplements like zinc, omega-3s, doing like 2 to 4 ounces of a liquid nutritional supplement a couple times throughout the day. And then of course, my 7 eating tips, which are, maximize intake when your appetite is high or there at all. Keep your favorite healthy foods around. Relaxation and mindfulness before and during meals. Do look into mindful eating. It is a great practice on so many levels. A little bit of wine before some meals, but don't drink fluids with your meals. Make sure you're eating in a pleasant environment, no offensive smells, really nice for all of your senses, and calm and safe and all that. And small, frequent meals throughout the day, like 6, and ideally, nutrient, protein, and caloric dense. All right, everyone. So I have a free gift for you. It is a really great gift, a really awesome article I wrote. I'm really proud of it. You could call it a short ebook, The 10 Common Healing Factors Among Cancer Survivors Who Beat the Odds. This is based on decades of research on cancer patients who had spontaneous remissions, and it's what they did, what they all had in common. So the likely reasons they went into spontaneous remission. So you'll want to know that if you have cancer. So click the link in the description box, get your free copy today. And until next time, much love, everybody. Thank you for being here. And yeah, if you could like and follow, it really helps so we can get this information out to more people. Thank you. Much love. Bye.